You can feel the energy inside this building and also across the street. The NFL Draft has finally arrived.
With the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select.
And so it is. The assumed is really happening.
All right, everyone, welcome back. This is the People's GM. What we do here is we take over as your favorite professional franchise's general manager. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, whatever else. This week, leading up to the NFL Draft, we are going through all 32 teams, putting that GM hat on and saying, hey, what should these teams really be doing? Right now, we're finishing up the NFC East. So we're doing the Philadelphia, City of Brotherly Love, Eagles. Now, what we like to do is take a look here. We're doing this on the PFF 2021 NFL Draft Simulator, which, if you haven't checked that out, go do it, because it's awesome. It's a ton of fun. Has AI, you can run through, you can make trades and things like that, which you'll see in a second. Anywho, it's great. But before we get into the draft, let's take a look at the old 2-deep here on the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Carson Wentz out, Jalen Hurts in, big change at quarterback. Is it going to make sense? TBD. Across the board, tons of injuries on the offensive line. Receiver continues to be an issue. Defensively, they just really were kind of hit or miss. So, this is a team that needs a lot of starters, frankly. So, they were 4-11-1 last year, which probably is about what they should have been. So, didn't really underachieve, definitely didn't overachieve. But again, it's one of those things where tons of injuries, and we've just got to go into this draft thinking, hey, we need playmakers. We need NFL-level playmakers. So without further ado, let's get into it. You can see it. When you get on here, you can adjust some of these ratings. These are the ratings I do for every one. And so let's get in there. First pick is going to be number 12. Let's go. Enter the draft. Boom. See what happens. Who's available. So number 12, here it is. So again, like I said, PFF says that we need a quarterback, wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback. I would say you need all those. Plus we need interior offensive linemen, tackles, defensive interior, defensive ends. But let's take a look at the trade. Let's see what we can do here and see who's offering what. So the Jets are at 23. They want to move up to number 12. That's just not a move we're going to make. So I'd love to get some draft capital out of these guys. But again, that's a little bit too far back. And so let's go take a look and see who we have available. So we've got Rashawn Slater, the number 2 tackle. We've got Patrick Surtain, really rated as the number 1 corner. We've got Christian Darrisaw, who's the number 3 tackle. Trayvon Moehrig, who's the number 1 safety, really rated. Mac Jones, J.C. Horn, top corner, or number 2 corner, depending on who you talk to. Again, we've got a plethora of options. This is great to kind of see this. And the fact that Sewell, at the tackle at Oregon, landed to 11. Let's take a gander what happened here. Wow. So you can see things got a little crazy here in the top 11 picks. But with that being said, we've got to really look at this and say we've got to really build this team. And it's not a need. But with that, the pick is in. We're taking Rashawn Slater. It's just too good a value. He's going to be a franchise tackle. We're drafting him. It just makes sense. Now, we're coming up on pick number 37. So, again, we need to find 3 or 4 more starters. But we're also going to take a look. There it is. We're going to take a look at these trade offers and see what we can do. We can move 2 back. So, the Panthers clearly want somebody that potentially the Bengals want. Let's take a look. Let's look at wide receivers and see who's available. Kadarius Toney, great player. Dwamie Brown, Josh Palmer, Kay Johnson. We like all these guys. We're going to take a receiver. We like all these guys. Let's see what kind of value we can extract out of these guys. Let's say we need number 39, number 73, and a third rounder next year for them to move up 2 spots. That's a pretty hefty bounty. That makes sense that they turn that down. Let's see about... No, that still makes too much sense. Let's go a 3-for-1 draft. There it is. So one of the things we're doing here is, again, like I said, we've got to get picks. We've got to get picks to get players to get better. So here it is. We're going to drop 2 spots. I'm guessing they're going to take a receiver. Let's see what they do. Wow, they didn't. They moved up to take Owusu at a Notre Dame linebacker. Bengals did take a receiver, which makes sense, Diami Brown. But what's great for us is Kadarius Toney, which was on our top of list, the top of our big board, 4 wide receivers in this rank. So, with that being said, you know it. The pick is in Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. We get a playmaker there on the edge for Jalen Hurts. We got to really see what this kid's made out of. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is give him help around there. So, we're back at it again. Great cornerback opportunities here, but also Travis Etienne, interesting prospect here. We've got Miles Sanders, but this is a tasty maybe. Let's take a look at the trade options. We're at 70. They want us to drop to 79. Can we get 79 and 80 for number 70, plus throw on a 5th rounder next year? That's a haul if we can. I mean, we're bamboozling. We're pulling wool over people's eyes. Granted, yeah, we got to drop back 9, but we get 2 picks. So we drop back 8 picks, 9 picks to get 2, plus we get a 5th rounder next year. That just makes sense. Let's go get some players. So now we got 3 in the next 5. Oh, this is great news. So we've got Kelvin Joseph. Take a look at that. Boom. Go in the top 10, right? More seasoning, right? Okay? But here's the point, right? So we just need a guy. He's 6'1". He's 192. He's no little tweener. Long, super fluid. This is a guy that makes a ton of sense for us. Now, on the other hand, we also have Cade Johnson, who's a really, really interesting prospect at wide receiver out of South Dakota State. So, again, it's one of those things where, again, look at these grades. It makes a lot of sense between these 2 guys about really taking a look at who we should take. And with that said, the pick is in. We've got to go Kelvin Joseph, cornerback out of Kentucky. He's just too good to not pick up there. Now, great news is, here we are on the next one, so we can still take Cade Johnson. I thought we had 1 pick in between. My bad there. So, without a shocker, the pick is in. It's Cade Johnson, wide receiver out of South Dakota State. We've got to continue to get better on the perimeter there for our dudes. Now, here we are. We're back on the clock because, again, we've got 1 trade offer. Let's take a look. They want us to move to 116 from 84. No. We need another starter. Now, we've already gotten a tackle, but Brady Christensen, man, could we get 2 tackles? That would be great. We've also got Davis Mills, quarterback. So are we really sure about Jalen Hurts? Are we not sure? Levi Onwuzurike, as I like to murder his last name, another super interesting prospect out of Washington. Playmaker, interior defensive lineman, opted out of 2020. So bad news is he opted out. Good news is he's fresh. So let's really take a look at the edge rushers too. Chris Rumpf out of Duke. Again, interesting prospect. Jonathan Cooper, a little bit more. Again, a Larry Johnson Sr. guy. Shaka Toney, again, I'm a little bit of a Penn State homer, so sorry about that. But we've got some real interesting potential there. Again, but this probably is one of those things where we've just got to decide which side of the ball really makes sense for us. Marvin Wilson's another guy. Ben Cleveland's a guy. I mean, this is a ton of talent at this point in the draft. But with that being said, the pick is in. We're taking Onwuzurike out of Washington, defensive tackle. It just makes sense. He's going to make our D-line better. We've got to build from that inside out. Now, again, we want to continue to look at what our options are. Now, this is an interesting, so we've got some fun kind of like playmaker type guys that we could put on that offensive side of the ball, kind of see what's what. But really what we're going to focus on is right here between these 2 guys. So you got Monty Rice, Georgia, speed and tackle. I mean, you stay right there, right? It just is. He makes some bad decisions, but the guy does not miss tackles, and he's stinking fast. Played at Georgia. Same kind of MO, Justin Hilliard. Closer with reckless abandon. Love that. Stays healthy, though, so that's always a question mark. Probably more NFL ready. He's 6'1", 230. I'm not, what's Monty Rice? I think he's a little, yeah. So about the same. Again, these are guys that have played at these programs that are ready to come in and contribute right away. But we've got to get the right one. With that said, the pick is in. We are taking linebacker out of Georgia, Monty Rice. Another starter for us. He's going to come in. He's going to be a tackling machine. He's going to get the ball back for us. We're going to be able to get more possessions, means more points, etc. Now, we're going to take a look at what we have. Again, we've got several halfbacks available. We've got Nico Collins, which is an interesting prospect out of Michigan. Again, Michigan just, I'm a Penn State homer, but Michigan could not throw the ball well. So, got to really kind of look at it from a talent standpoint. Is it him or is it them? We've also, again, got some running backs. Miles Sanders banged up the last couple of years. Go back to our depth chart. We've got Boston Scott as a backup. We've got Jordan Howard on the team. Do we feel good about that? Do we want to look at that? What are we going to do here? We're going to go, again, we are the people's GM. We're going another route. With that said, the pick is in. It's Cornell Powell, wide receiver out of Clemson. This was Trevor Lawrence, one of his go-to guys. We're picking him up. He's got championship pedigree, and we've got to address this wide receiver problem that we have. In case you didn't know, if you've ever watched a Philadelphia game in the last 10 years, we got no depth at wide receiver. We are fixing that right now. We're not waiting until next year. We're not waiting until the offseason. We're doing it right now. It's happening. Now we've got back-to-back picks, so we're looking at two guys. Now, here's what's great. You got Marco Wilson, who definitely shouldn't be here. Talent is there. Again, long way of inevitable slip-up. So he's a big risk, big reward guy. So again, it's one of those things that is, is it worth it? Can we get him in the right thing? Tonga, defensive interior, super, again, they don't like that, but again, these are both guys that are super talented, really probably shouldn't be available here, but are because of coaching. Now, what I would say is this, is I think we have great coaches, so we're going to take a chance. With that said, the picks are in. First up, Chris Tonga out of BYU, defensive tackle. Right next up, Marco Wilson, cornerback out of the University of Florida. Boom. Now we've got 5 picks left. They're going to be late. One's going to be in the 6th. And then it looks like the last 4 are going to be in the 7th round. So this is really where championship quality GMs strut their stuff. And good news is, boys and girls, I'm championship quality, so let's go strut our stuff. Now, we're in the 6th round. We're pick 5. We've got an edge rusher out of Northern Iowa. Again, playmakers come in all shapes and sizes. John Bates is an interesting prospect. Garrett Wallow out at TCU. Again, great little thing. Going to wow in coverage, solid linebacker who you can trust in the middle. So this is a guy we really like. But let's take another look too. Position we haven't addressed yet. It's quarterback. Again, this time of the draft, a lot of draft simulations. These guys are kind of the core guys that are available. We like Jalen Hurts, but are we sure? So what I'm going to say is, it looks like, and I would say these two guys are really who we're focused on. Franks, I hate to say it, he's a bust. I don't know what to tell you. He's a busta. He's going to be a bust. Shane Buechel, I don't know if that's how you say his name, same thing. Just flinging the ball all over the place at SMU. I don't know that he is a NFL quality guy. But we've got to address that. I mean, again, let's go back to it. You saw it. Joe freaking Flacco's our backup. I don't know what else to say to that. Now, again, Larry Bourne being available this late is interesting tackle. We could go another wide receiver. But with that being said, the pick is in. It's Garrett Wallow. We're going back to that TCU defense. We're drafting that cat. He's going to come in. He's going to play right away. He's going to help us. We're going to be better in those front 7. Now, again, we're going to get graded. So all these individual trades and picks will be graded by PFF at the end of this draft. So stick around to see that here in a minute. But here we are back on the clock. We got 4 picks left, 2 right in a row. We are going to go ahead and address that quarterback position. Now, luckily for us, the pick is in. It's super easy. It's Sam Ehlinger, quarterback out of Texas. Again, we're using a 6th round pick 41, which is basically a 7th round pick, on a guy we like. Again, can be a backup. Potentially if we need a quarterback of the future, which again, hopefully that's Jalen Hurts. Now we're back in it again. Again, great opportunity here. Michael Bennett, great value here. McDuffie out of Boston College, same kind of thing. Tyler Vaughn, wide receiver out of USC. Marquez Stevenson. Now here's a real interesting prospect. 6 foot 190. UC, right? UC. They don't even have that. 5 games though. 20 receptions, 301 yards. Look at these averages, right? Out of Houston, they haven't had great quarterback play the last couple of years. So if you think about that, this is a guy that's a really interesting prospect for us. But at this point, we've got to pull the trigger on. Or I'm sorry, the pick is in, and we are going to pull the trigger on Marquez Stevenson. Because again, what did I say? We're going to fix that wide receiver position. We're back on the clock. A lot of good options here. Again, Taron Jackson, edge guy out of Coastal Carolina, smaller thing. There it is. Legitimate concerns. Can he be great, right? Swinging baseball bats for arms. Knocks hands down with these. Gotta love that. Got big. He's 6'2", 5th-year senior. Tony Punch is kind of same idea. A guy that really worked his way into being a potential draft. Potentially being drafted, really kind of worked his way into being an NFL player. That being said, the pick is in. We're taking Taron Jackson out of Coastal Carolina. Great value here. Again, project guy. Maybe he makes a roster, maybe he doesn't. And here we are, pick number 240, round 7, pick 12, last pick of the draft. We're going to kind of peruse through here. Tony Fields II, did not know he was going to be available. Again, this is a guy, linebacker. It's one of those things, right? So, again, he's smallish. He can kind of, probably a nickel type guy. But I've just seen him play, and I kind of like him as kind of just one of those things. That being said, the pick is in. We're going to take Jamar Jefferson, halfback out of Oregon State. Gives us some depth. Going to play special teams. So let's go to the grades, see what PFF thinks about what we did here. Wow. Well, okay. So not a great start is what we're saying here. C+ for getting the number 2 tackle in the draft. Again, this is probably because they don't love the fact that we took a tackle because they didn't think that was a need. Although we haven't had our starting tackles start more than 13 games as a pair in a decade. So we need some depth at tackle. Again, that was need, and I think that's tremendous value. So I disagree with that. B, again, I would kind of say the same thing. I'm like, okay, we got a 3-for-1, dropping back 2, which allowed us to get one of our top wide receivers. So again, got a wide receiver, we got our tackle, we got Kelvin Joseph, we got a great corner, we got a 2022 5th-round pick, had to drop back, but again, that got us Kelvin Joseph and Cade Johnson, A-minuses, which I love there. Same thing, they didn't love our Washington defensive line pick at C+, but again, you build championship teams. Fletcher Cox is great, but again, we just need to continue to build that. You look at these teams that keep winning Super Bowls, they have dynamic defensive lines and really solid offensive lines. So that's what we're looking for. Monty Rice, no surprise there. Got to be a playmaker, going to be a starter. Wide receiver out of Clemson. So again, yeah, we took 3 wide receivers in the first 123 picks because we've got to address that. Again, great value there. Tonga, a little bit hard again because we took D-line, but again, we just got to keep building those things. Took another corner, Marco Wilson, so we're revamping that secondary. We got Garrett Wallow, linebacker out of TCU. Again, a guy that's going to come in, contribute, stinking, give us huge value, A-. Love that. Quarterback, again, back up with a little bit of that flavor of, if we need somebody down the road, and in the meantime, hopefully it's not, all our hope doesn't rest on Joe Flacco if Jalen Hurts gets hurt. Marquez Stevenson, again, it's a reach there, but again, we've got to find starting receivers. That's just the way it is. We've had too many injuries, too many of those things go down. Taron Jackson, again, knew that probably wasn't going to get great because he's a super project guy, but again, he could be stinking special and then Jamar Jefferson. Last pick for us. Running back depth, potentially a returner on kickoff, again, and as well as some other special teams. So overall, A- for our Philadelphia Eagles. You know, we're just out here trying to get starters, trying to get value, and I think if you look at this, this is what we did. This is why we do what we do. Again, the phone is on. Philadelphia, go ahead and call me up. Let me know. I can be there Thursday. I'll walk you guys through how to be a great drafter. Okay? So, that being said, this was the Philadelphia Eagles 2021 NFL mock draft. I am the People's GM, your GM. We're out here killing it. We're going to finish up the NFC East. Then we're moving on to the NFC North. Again, all 32 teams are going to be on our channel, so tune in, take a look. If you're confused by all these mock drafts, or just tune in, and I'll go ahead and let you know what your teams should do to help you get to the Super Bowl and win a championship at some point. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I am the People's GM.